everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I've got some really important news for you today that I think you all need to hear, and it's a story that really hits close to home for a lot of people. Let me start by telling you about Sarah Shaw and her family. Sarah is a New Zealand woman who recently found herself in a really tough situation when she and her 6-year-old son Isaac were released from detention at an immigration facility in Texas after being held for over 3 weeks. That's 3 weeks of detention, and that's not something you take lightly. Let's dive into what exactly happened here. Sarah and her family were on a trip to New Zealand. She was there with her 2 other children, Grace and Seth, who flew to visit their grandparents. Isaac didn't join the trip because he was too young to travel unaccompanied. Now, here's where the story gets complicated. Sarah was trying to return to the United States from Canada when she made a mistake, a very tragic mistake in my opinion. She tried to re-enter the U.S. without both parts of her visa approved. That's not a mistake that anyone wants to make, but it's one that can have life-altering consequences. What happened next? Sarah was detained at the Canadian border, and she and her son Isaac ended up being held at the Dilley Immigration Processing Center in Texas. That's a facility that people have been talking about for a while, and it's not known for its kindness or humane treatment. I've heard a lot about the conditions there, not just from people who have been through it, but from reports and stories shared by advocates. But this is the first time I've seen a personal story from someone who was actually there. Sarah's lawyer, Minda Thorward, explained that Sarah had a temporary immigration document that allowed her to travel and re-enter the U.S., but there was an administrative error with it. That's not an excuse, but it's something that needs to be addressed. It's not just a mistake, it's a systemic issue that people are facing when it comes to immigration procedures, and I think that's something we need to talk about more. Victoria Bisankon, who set up a GoFundMe page for the family, shared some really disturbing details. She said that Sarah and Isaac were treated poorly during their detention, including being held in conditions similar to a prison. They weren't allowed to wear their own clothes, and they were isolated socially. That's not just harsh, that's inhumane. And I can't help but think about how many people are going through similar experiences every day, and how many of them don't have the same level of support or attention that Sarah's family did. Here's the good news. Sarah and Isaac were eventually released, and a GoFundMe page raised over US $56,000 for the family. That's a lot of money, and it shows how much the community cares about this family. But it also shows how much people are willing to support someone who is in need, even if they don't know them personally. That's something that really stands out to me. It's a reminder that we can all make a difference, even in small ways. The family is now safely back in Washington. That's a relief, but it's also a reminder that the fight is far from over. I want to take a moment to talk about the bigger picture here. This isn't just about Sarah and her family. This is about the thousands of people who are being detained at these facilities, many of whom are children, parents, and families who are just trying to live their lives. It's about the systemic issues in our immigration system that need to be addressed. And it's about the importance of community support, which is something that we can all take part in, and it's a story that should be heard. It's not just about the mistakes that people make, but about the consequences of those mistakes and the need for change. It's about the importance of compassion, the importance of support, and the importance of standing up for those who are being treated unfairly. What can we do? Well, the first thing we can do is listen. We can listen to stories like Sarah's and understand the real impact of these policies. We can support organizations that are working to improve conditions in these facilities. We can donate to GoFundMe pages like the one that was set up for Sarah's family. And we can speak out, whether it's on social media, in our communities, or in our own homes. We can be the voice for those who are being silenced, but it's a story that needs to be told. It's a story that challenges us to think about how we treat people who are different from us, how we treat families who are just trying to make a better life, and how we can be better not just as individuals, but as a society. If you found this video helpful, or if you want to share your own thoughts on this story, be sure to leave a comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, because this is just the beginning. There are so many more stories out there that need to be heard, and I want to be the one to bring them to you, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay informed, stay kind, and keep supporting those who need it most.